Are the New York Knicks waiting on Giannis Antetokounmpo to extend Mikal Bridges? Reports are coming out, and I'm going to explain it on today's show. But first, I just want to open up the comment section for all the real ones that are tuned in for today's video. Do you think the New York Knicks should go all in on the Greek Freak? Y for yes and for no. Why have the New York Knicks not extended Mikal Bridges in his contract? Why has it not gotten done with Mitchell Robinson? And are the Knicks still waiting on Giannis? You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. And Ian Begley put out an article where he kind of talked about the Knicks are waiting for Giannis to extend Mikal Bridges. Because if you extend Bridges, you can't trade him for 60 days. And that is why I believe the Knicks have not gotten a deal done. Another reason could be that they are far apart on a price point at this point, but I'm going to lean more towards the Knicks want to maintain flexibility where or if Giannis requests a trade or any other player that they are interested in requests a trade, because you want to have all the tools in your tool shed to trade if said player becomes available, and most likely Mikal Bridges would be one of those players going out. Bridges right now can put pen to paper and sign a 4-year contract extension that would pay him $156.2 million over the lifespan of that deal. It's a lot of money for Mikal Bridges. Probably a team out there that would pay him that money. But to be honest with you, I think that's a little bit too much for him. He had some good moments for the Knicks this season, had some other moments where he fell short, but overall, I would say it was a successful year for Bridges. But $156.2 million seems a little bit too high for me, and it would put the Knicks in a serious pickle with the second apron. We'll talk about that in a second. If Mikal decides to wait on signing an extension and plays out this season, next summer, he can ink a 5-year, nearly $300 million deal to maintain his status with the New York Knicks and be a Knick again. If he wants to leave the Knicks in free agency next year, he can sign about a 4-year, $225 million deal. The reason we don't have the exact numbers on those deals is because we don't know what the exact salary cap is going to be come next July. Mitchell Robinson is also extension eligible. And the New York Knicks, they're in a spot where they have a lot of money on their team already being used with guys like Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart. And that's why Brunson is the GOAT, because he took a major discount, and it allows the Knicks multiple different ways to continue to add talented pieces to this roster. Christian Winfield, who covers the New York Knicks for the New York Daily News, wrote this. Many NBA front office members penned in a 10% increase in the salary cap this summer, and a 10% increase in both first and second April levels year over year, as the byproduct of the league's new media rights deal. Yet, ESPN reported the updated projections now hover at 7%, not 10%. And front office executives are using a $222.372 million figure as the projected 2026-2027 second apron, not the initial projection of nearly $229 million. That's an issue for the Knicks, who have been hard capped at the second apron now 2 years in a row. If the Knicks reach extensions for both Bridges and Robinson, the payroll will check in at $226.2 million. That's a $2.6 million below the old projection and close to $4 million above the new one. All that to say, the Knicks know that they are, if they sign Robinson and Bridges right now, are going to be over the second apron. And the Knicks are very cognizant of the second apron, because if you enter that part of spending, you are very limited on what you can do going forward. That is why there was talk when Mikal Bridges first got traded to the Knicks that he was going to take a contract discount. Mark Stein reported a couple of days after the deal went down last year saying Mikal Bridges is expected to follow Jalen Brunson's lead and take a team-friendly deal with the Knicks. Gives them more flexibility, gives them more opportunity to add to this team. But the second apron is not why the Knicks are waiting on signing Mikal Bridges, because you could technically sign him for less now than his max potential earnings next summer. The reason they are waiting is because Giannis Antetokounmpo could be requesting a trade very soon. Ian Begley wrote this, saying, until the Giannis stuff is fully settled, and I don't think it's fully settled, very important right there, until the Giannis stuff is fully settled, and I don't think it's fully settled yet, teams continue to plan with that in the back of their minds. When Mikal Bridges does sign his extension, I think that would tell you Giannis is put to bed. It's always been Giannis for the Knicks. He's always been the big fish that they have been pursuing. That type of player, that type of talent, someone that could turn the Knicks into championship contenders like that. They're already there, but if you're able to form a duo or potential trio of Brunson, Giannis, and Cat, you up your chances to win it all. But how does that factor in with Bridges? I told you earlier. If Bridges were to put pen to paper right now, he could not be traded for 6 months, which would be January 22nd. And I don't think Giannis is going to request a trade midseason. I think it's either he's going to, in a couple of weeks, decide I'm going to be a Buck this year, or I'm not. And maybe he requests a trade next summer. TBD on that. The Knicks want to stay flexible, though. They want to have as many chips to push to the center of the table when the player that they want becomes available. Mikal Bridges could also be waiting for himself. There have been reports out there that Bridges wants to wait now, compared to the initial reports that he was going to take a discount, to get potentially that 5-year, $300 million deal in free agency. I don't think anyone's going to pay him that, but he could potentially be waiting for a bigger deal. Not really a need for the Knicks to rush it at this point. It'd be nice to have him under contract for the foreseeable future, but there's no real benefit to him signing it today or tomorrow or whatever it may be. Like, he could sign it today or he could sign it one day before the season starts. Same thing's going to happen. He's going to be a Knick, and he can't be traded for 6 months. But if Bridges says no to signing a deal with the Knicks, say the Knicks offer Bridges 3 years, $100 million or something along that, and he's like, nope, I'm not doing that. If the two sides are far apart on a potential figure, then the Knicks could look to trade him. Frank Isola already reported this summer that we broke down on this channel that the Knicks have taken and making calls on Bridges and Robinson. And we saw that unfold last year. Knicks and Randall, they're far apart on a deal. And it resulted in Randall getting a deal to be sent to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So there's always that. And I'm not sold that Giannis is a Buck for life. I'm not saying he is going to be traded this offseason, but I just don't see a world where he puts pen to paper and says, I'm going to be a Milwaukee Buck for life, and being a Buck is more important than putting my dreams, my aspirations of winning another title ahead of that, because he's not winning another title with the Bucks unless they make something out of nothing, because that roster, it's a lot of nothing, and we'll show you that in a second. But first, I want you to take advantage of this deal. This sweet New York Knicks Sorry I Was Hooping t-shirt is 50% off. It was $60. Now it's $30. And if you go to this link, chatsports.com/NYKHoop, that's chatsports.com/NYKHoop, you can get this shirt for 50% off. The deal will not last forever, so take advantage of it and get your shirt today. I mean, ask yourself this question. If you were Giannis, 30 years old, already won championship, you're a championship away from being a top 20 player of all time. Do you think you're winning a championship with Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Miles Turner, Andre Jackson, Gary Harris, A.J. Green, Chris Livingston, producer Smitty, Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis, and Jericho Sims? You think that team's winning the NBA Finals? Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful to the players that are also employed by the Bucks. Y'all are millionaires playing hoops. You're wasting your career with the Bucks. You're wasting your opportunity to win another championship. Because it doesn't matter if Giannis is going to be the second best player in the league like he is. A guy that's averaged 30, 11, and 6, 4 years in a row. You need help. And you need a lot of help. And Kuzma and Gary Trent Jr. they're not second and third options. And look, the Miles Turner get was awesome. That ain't helping you win a championship. And like, the Bucks are also digging their own grave on being able to build a championship roster. They're paying Damian Lillard $20 million for the next 5 seasons. Not $20 million over 5 seasons, $100 million over the next 5 seasons to not be on the team. And it's not they're just paying that. That's also a dead cap charge on their salary cap, which prevents them from using that money to improve the team. And they did that so he could leave to add Miles Turner. Yeah. If Giannis wants another ring, he'll request a trade. It's that simple. What do you want in this life of an NBA player? You want to make hundreds of $millions, be a franchise legend, never sniff another NBA Finals, be one and done in the playoffs, maybe upset a team to get to round 2, stay in Milwaukee. You want to win another chip, possibly chips, and become one of the best players of all time? You'll request a trade, and you'll do it to the Knicks because you'll win a ring if that happens. Do you think the Knicks should go all in for Giannis? Or do you just extend Bridges, extend Robinson, be a second apron team next year and run it back with this crew? It's going to be interesting to see what Leon Rose does. Let me know your thoughts. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.